In my restless dreams, I see that book. You promised me I'd never have to see it again, but because of you, it never leaves my mind. I'm alone now, in a pit of despair, surrounded by lackluster literature. What is the point of reading? I think since we've all been very little, we've developed this idea that reading is some sort of elevated activity, that the kid with glasses reading in the corner of class was attaining some sort of esoteric knowledge. I mean, let's be realistic, this isn't true. Are there books that can greatly help you in life? Yes. Are most people reading these books? No, they certainly are not. Colleen Hoover and her flourishing career exemplifies this perfectly. Now, I want to make two things clear. I've never read a Colleen Hoover book, nor do I intend to, and I also have nothing against the lady personally. It's more so what these types of books stand for that I dislike so much. I'll bring up a little story from Norwegian Wood, one of my personal favorite books. Nagasawa is a young Japanese college student of the 60s. He's unapologetic and confident, and has a charm about him that others can't help but admire. When he runs into the main character, Toru Watanabe, who is reading F. Scott Fitzgerald's literary classic, The Great Gatsby, this leaves a great impression on him. Us readers of The Great Gatsby must stick together, he tells Toru. Nagasawa explains that he doesn't read books by authors who haven't been dead for at least 30 years. His reasoning being that if you only read the books that everyone else is reading, you can only think what everyone else is thinking. The irony of the quote is one that is brought up by Toru himself, who remarks that Fitzgerald had only been dead for 29 years, as the book is set in the late 60s, to which Nagasawa responds that it's close enough. Even despite this little hiccup, I still think Nagasawa's point stands for the most part. When I go for a stroll around the local bookstore, as I often like to do, as soon as I enter, I feel like I'm bombarded by all this indistinguishable and unremarkable young adult fiction everywhere, with the same basic covers and unoriginal plots. It honestly annoys me the amount of space this, in my eyes, unimportant literature takes up. But I really did want to try and understand what exactly it was that irks me so much about these sorts of books. And later on, when I sat down at the cafe at the bookstore and began drinking my coffee, it suddenly struck me like an arrow. I got up and began wandering around the fiction aisle, looking for my favorite books. And as I observed these books closely, I realized there was a congruency between all of them. Almost all of my favorite books were old. In fact, most of the writers that had written these books had died a long time ago. These books that I so cherish had been given the blessing of time, as Nagasawa would put it, as an unremarkable book from the past would not be perched on a shelf in a bookstore in England, hundreds of years after it was written. The thing is, we have an unprecedented abundance of entertainment and education in the 21st century. We've never had bookshelves so rich in all of history. But there is a pretty big catch to this. How do you determine what is even worth your time? It will take lifetimes to read even just a couple of shelves for even the most experienced readers. So how do we filter out all this noise and find books that can truly enrich our lives? Well, Nagasawa had a very simple solution, one that I have inadvertently picked up. We don't know if a book written in 2024 will have any sort of importance 100 years after its publication. But The Magic Mountain, written by Thomas Mann in 1924, does, and we know this is a fact. Time has blessed this book. We know it has some sort of value, as it had value to the people of the past, and it has continued to do so into the 21st century. It's difficult to accurately assess a situation while you're in the midst of it, but time makes such judgments effortless. And I completely understand that there are exceptions to this rule. There will be books released this year that will be read for many years into the future. But these books are a slim percentage of the mountains of shit that will also come out in 2024. The 17th book in basic young adult fantasy series with magic and hot princesses and romance. This sort of stuff is white noise to the brain. It doesn't leave any lasting mark, so it is soon forgotten. I don't mean to sound like a complete killjoy. If you enjoy reading a book or a book series, by all means read it and get that personal satisfaction. We are human after all. But in reality, we are also much more similar than we all think. A shitty story is a shitty story. Most of us won't enjoy reading a bad story, so why waste the time? Of course, there is also another side of the coin. Some books are explicitly culturally relevant and could not have been written in any other time. Take, for instance, two books that I've recently read. Trans by Helen Joyce and The Case Against the Sexual Revolution by Louise Perry. Transgenderism has only really existed in popular culture since 2015, after the athlete Bruce Jenner announced that he wanted to be called Caitlyn and declared himself a woman. And a book that critiques the sexual revolution by analysing the effect it has on modern day women is a book that can only be written in the modern day. The point is that with such new and contentious issues and topics, we can't find old literature discussing said topics because they simply did not exist. If you can't live, you're dying. Inactivity is death. If you're not moving forwards, you're falling backwards. To give a good illustration of what I mean, weed. The devil's lettuce. A lot of people love to campaign about its life-changing effects and how much it has helped them. But is this even close to the truth? Even if we assume that there are zero negative effects from smoking weed, what about the time it usurps from your life? And the money that it sucks out of your wallet? And for what? Is it going to put you in a better place tomorrow? No, it's not. It's just going to make where you are right now seem more comfortable. And if you're not in a good place, why stay there any longer than you have to? My bottom line is that we have to be very careful where we choose to allocate our time. There are a lot of harmful things that we can do, and in the modern day, they are more accessible than ever before. And even that which appears harmless might leech off our time and money while we don't notice a thing until it is too late. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but time is money, and in a very literal sense too. Money is just other people's time. If I have $10 and I go to buy pizza, I'm paying for the time of the farmer who raised the animals and grew the crops. I'm also paying for the truck that transports the food from the farmer to the pizza shop. And I'm paying for the time of the employees at the pizza shop to make the pizza, cook it, and hand it to me. Even something seemingly benign, like attention, is also money. Because to have someone's attention, you have at least a little bit of his time. And whole careers have been made off this sort of attention. Advertising has existed for hundreds of years, and it works to capture your attention and grab your time away from you. And almost everything nowadays is vying for your attention. Even this video. And if you clicked on it and got this far, it means I'm doing a good job. And I hope you feel like I provided some sort of value. One last thought I'll leave you with. Next time you see something vying for your precious time and energy, give it a second thought, whether or not this is truly worth shedding such a limited and finite resource for. So yeah guys, hope you enjoyed watching this video. I kind of fixed up the audio quality because you guys said it was ass in the last video. And yeah, tell me what you think of the green screen. She's cute, isn't she? Say hi to the camera. She's also camera shy. And yeah, thanks for watching guys. See you in the next video. Peace out.